Hey guys, I am Ett Venter, and today I'm going to be reviewing a couple of flash related stuff. Okay, so there's three things I'm going to go over today. The first is this Yongnuo 660 YN660 speedlight. The second is the YN560-TX. And the third is a pack of Yongnuo batteries. Now I think we should start with the light. I've actually had this light for a while. This is my own one. It's still in one piece, it still works great. So this is the box that it comes in. And just like most speedlights, it comes in its own nice little pouch like this, that you're probably never ever going to use again. And there it is. This light is really big. I mean, this is one of my 560 Mark IV speedlights. This thing is substantially bigger than the 560 Mark IV. The back is different. It's like kind of a bit of a redesign. Now there's a bunch of specs and stuff about this light. Actually, let me pull them up. Now, I'm not going to bother going over like all the intense details and stuff. I really just want to talk about the things that you actually care about. Okay, so it has a guide number of 66M, ISO 100, 200 millimeter. I don't know what any of that means. The power range is between full power and 128th. It's got a radio. It's got S1 and S2 modes, auto save, sound prompt. It has. Bottom line. It's a great speed light, and it has a couple of things that I really like and a couple of things that I really prefer over the 560 Mark IV. Now, the 560 Mark IV is the light that I've been using for, I don't know, about 18 months probably. I've been using these, and I really love them. But these make a couple of nice improvements. The first thing that I really love, and I'm so happy, is this. I hate the fact that speed lights can only turn 180 degrees the one way and 90 degrees the other way. I hate that. And these ones can turn 180 degrees both ways. So that's pretty fancy. The other thing is that this speedlight's zoom range is wider. So at its widest, it's 20 millimeters, and at its longest, it's 200. And that's pretty great, because I think on most speedlights, it's like 24 to 105 or something like that. So that's a nice touch. Something else that's really nice about it is that the mechanism to lock it into your camera's hot shoe is better. It's just a little swivel goodie like this. And on the other speedlights, it's sort of a thing that you have to turn. And this can be a bit of a pain, and this, you know, I kind of prefer that. Now, one of the first things that you'll notice when you look at the back of this light is that all the buttons and the screen and everything is different now. It's got this little dial at the back, which, if I'm honest, I'm a bit scared of dials like these because I'm scared they break. But the system feels pretty easy to use. The screen is exactly the same as the screen on the previous Yongnuo speedlights. It's the same, the whole system looks exactly the same. So if you know how to work one, you can work them all. One thing to keep in mind about this particular light is that it does not have high-speed sync and it does not have TTL. So that's kind of the deal with this light. It's more powerful than the 560 Mark IV and Mark III. It's kind of within range of Nikon and Canon's top-end speedlights, which is great. If you need all that power, it's there. What's really nice about it is that it's got the transmitter and the receiver built into it. So if you had a few of these, you could use one of these to trigger and fire other lights that are off camera, and you could also use this to adjust their power up and down, which is super convenient. Obviously, this light can be fired with Yongnuo triggers, just not the 622 triggers. So the 603s and the 560-TX will fire this. So these guys and this guy. And that's that. I don't think there's much more to say about this light. It's really powerful and it's really robust. I've had mine for a while and I've dropped it many times and it's still in one piece. So if you don't want to be spending all that money on the Nikon or the Canon lights, I really think that these can be a good replacement. In fact, before I was using the 660, I was only using 560s, and they've been great. I'm super happy with them. I've dropped them 1,000 times, and what's really nice is that despite dropping these so many times, the battery doors have not broken off, which is amazing. So it's worth buying it just for that alone. Let's talk about the 560-TX. So this is a trigger for the Yongnuo lights. This thing has single-handedly made my entire workflow 1,000 times easier. I've been using it for ages, and the first thing I can say about it is, just like the Yongnuo speedlights, this thing is durable because I've also dropped this 1,000 times, so that's a good thing. It's nice and light, and it's not too big, particularly if you're on a DSLR. If you're on a mirrorless camera like this one, it can be a little bit big, but I mean, it's totally fine. I'm super happy with this. Now, what I really like about this is that it does not need to be on the camera to work. So what I can do is, once I've got it hooked up to my light, the light can be off camera, the trigger can be off camera, and it'll still fire my light. And it'll also adjust the power of the light. This is all camera independent. So if I make camera power adjustments here, they'll reflect right there, which is nice, because if I don't want to run around with this trigger on my camera, I can always run around with the, what is this? The YN660 on the camera, and when I fire a photograph with the camera, this will trigger the light, but the light will be at whatever power is on this thing. That's really convenient. In fact, you can go so far as to turn this on, adjust the power of the light, and then turn this off, and then fire the light with this trigger, and it will remain at whatever power the trigger was set to, which is just insane, because that means that on your camera, all you need is this little trigger, and you're good to go. So with this trigger, you can control the channels and the groups and the power and the zoom and everything that you need to control. You also have control in third stop increments, so you don't have to adjust the power in full stop increments. You can go in third stops if you need that kind of granular control of the power on all your lights. Okay, so that's the 660 and the 560-TX. Let's talk about the third thing. Panasonic's Eneloop Pro batteries. Now, I've actually never had the Pro version of these batteries. I've always used the just the normal Eneloops, which are these white ones. Now, before I get into these Eneloop Pros, let me just talk about these regular vanilla Eneloops. I have 32 of these, and I've bought these 32 over the last 6 or 7 years. And if you look after them properly, they'll last you a lifetime. In fact, the first 2 sets that I bought 5 or 6 years ago, I don't know which 2 sets those are compared to the most recent ones that I bought, which is incredible. So I'm a huge fan of these. Now, these ones are the 1900 milliamp ones, and these are 2550. So these are a bit bigger. Let's open these up. Now, I haven't used these particular Eneloops, but they look fancy. What's particularly great about Eneloops is that once you've charged them, they'll hold their charge for a long time. That is my review of the YN660 speedlight and the 560-TX trigger and these Eneloop Pro batteries. All of this is a really great setup. If you don't have money for a fancy, expensive strobe, I would absolutely recommend that you go this route. You can trust that I would recommend that, because that is literally the route that I have taken, because I've been using Yongnuo lights. I've actually been using Yongnuo lights for most of my career. That's all. I'm not really sure what else to say. I'm kind of out of things to say now, and I feel a little bit, I mean,